Hi guys, thanks for joining today to review the fundamentals of JavaScript. In this video, you'll learn the concepts, terms, and skills you'll need to get started developing JavaScript applications. In addition, you will get a quick review of the HTML and CSS skills you'll also need. If you have some developer experience, then this information should be straightforward and you can just skip to the next video, as it's really for those of us who are just getting started. So, what is a web application? A web application consists of many components working together to bring an application to your mobile device or computer. There are a few basic concepts you should know. A web application consists of clients and a web server. The clients are the computer, tablets, and mobile devices that use the web application and are accessed through web browsers, while a web server holds the files that make up a web application. A network is a system that allows the client and servers to communicate, and the internet is a large network that consists of many smaller networks. A local area network, or LAN, is a small network of computers that are near each other and can communicate with each other over short distances. Usually, these are in the same or adjacent buildings and often called intranets. A wide area network, or WAN, consists of multiple LANs that have been connected. A WAN is often owned by one or multiple private companies. Now, an Internet Service Provider, or ISP, is a company that owns the WAN that is connected to the Internet. And the ISP leases its network to companies or individuals that need to connect to that Internet. Now let's move on to a concept called static web pages. You might be asking yourself, what are static web pages and how are they processed? A static web page is a web page that doesn't change each time it is requested, and this type is sent directly from the web server to the web browser. You'll see a static web page by looking at the extension in the address bar, as it will have .htm or .html. The web browser builds a request for the web page and sends it to the web server. A request known as an HTTP, or Hypertext Transfer Protocol request, which lets the web server know which file is being requested. When the server receives the request, it gets the file from a disk drive which contains the HTML or hypertext markup language for the requested page and then sends it back to the browser as an HTTP response. Once the response is received, it renders or translates that HTML into a web page and displays it. Now, alternatively, a dynamic web page is different, as its name suggests, to a static web page, as it is created by a script or program on the web server each time it is rendered. The program or script is executed by an application server based on the data that's sent along with the HTTP request. Finally, the program or script retrieves the image and data from the database server. The processing that's done on the application server can be referred to as server-side processing. And this whole process that begins with the user requesting a web page and ending with the server sending a response is called a round trip. In contrast to server-side processing that's done for dynamic web pages, JavaScript is a scripting language that provides client-side processing, which means that all required images and files must be loaded into the browser when the page is requested. JavaScript can be used to change images that are shown without using server-side processing, a technique known as image swap. Similarly, if a user were to mouse over an image, it could be replaced with another image over the top of it, and when the user removes the mouse again, it is replaced with the old image. This is called image rollover. To improve performance, JavaScript code is executed in the web browser by the browser's JavaScript engine, which takes some of the processing burden off the server and makes the application run faster. Besides image swaps and rollovers, JavaScript can be used to validate data entered by forms, which also saves unnecessary trips to the server. Over time, programmers have developed libraries that allow for faster coding through the implementation of commonly used functions. The most popular of these is jQuery, which we'll talk about a little bit later on. Let's talk about the history of JavaScript. JavaScript was invented by Netscape in 1995 and released as a part of the Netscape Navigator web browser in early 1996. Then, in that same year, 1996, Microsoft developed a similar language called JScript and released it with Internet Explorer. Since there were differences in the two scripting languages, Netscape gave JavaScript to the European Computer Manufacturers Association, or ECMA, to develop a standard which was ultimately called the ECMA Script Specification. Since 1997, when it was conceived, there have been many versions which are supported on multiple browsers.